yes, it is the Wrestling Forum. Hello, friends. It's Ridiculously Over Anthony Flair here with you for another edition of the Wrestling Forum. Delighted to be here as always. Delighted to have you with us as well. And all I can say right now is this is not going to be an easy show for us tonight because of the fact that oh my God, this Monday Night Raw was all over the place. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, you thought last week's show was on the meh side of things. This one tonight, well, wow. That's just all I'm gonna say. So, I mean, there were some moments, I will admit it, but this show tonight was, oh boy. If I could describe it in one word, it would be hoofa. That's all there is to say about that. So, but without any further ado, we're not going to waste any time here. So we're just going to dive right in. This Raw tonight was live tonight from the Console Energy Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or as I call it, the new Igloo, because it is the home of the Pittsburgh Penguins of the NHL. And we started it off with an in-ring segment with the New Day. New Day's in there, tag champs. We see tripod confetti, or as Derek Ferrera once famously called it, confetti. But confetti, whatever you want to call it, we had tripod confetti all around, and Bullock and I, wondering, Michael Bullock and I were watching the show, we were sitting there wondering, what in the world is this all about? And then we got our answer. They brought out the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Sheamus, and then they had themselves a little moment there, and then at the end, Roman Reigns shows up, and Roman Reigns knocks out Sheamus with a Superman punch. So I'll say it like this. Brutal segment. Painful segment. I mean, I'll be honest with you. A few months ago, I was digging New Day. I'm going to be honest with you. You remember, I even did the New Day Rocks thing during, when we did our SummerSlam recap. Right now, with how over the top they are right now, and you know how much I hate over the top antics, they're starting to get to me. I'm starting to lose my love for the New Day a little bit. Not cool. I mean, the campy comedy nonsense, the trombone. I mean, the trombone's so damn tired. That thing's gotta go. I mean, just. And then you had Sheamus come out. It was basically an ego trip. It was almost like a campy comedy authority segment, almost, even without the authority. I mean, holy guacamole, this thing was terrible. This is going to go down as the worst segment of the night. And also a horrific way to start off what I thought was a rather average, mediocre, horrible, pedestrian edition of Monday Night Raw, and I am sure you guys agree with me on that. So, yeah. So I'm not even going to waste any more time on this. So, Michael Bullock, Phenom, we had to witness this monstrosity, and I know you feel the exact same way as I do.
Yes, hello friends. This is the Phenom, Mike Bullock here for another edition of the Wrestling Forum. Yeah, I mean, Fleur and I, we were watching this, and like, what the freaking hell is going on here? I mean, really? I mean, we usually get good segments to start off Monday Night Raw, but this is what we get? I mean, and I'll be quite honest. I mean, I was getting into the New Day as well, even with their heel character, but now I'm starting to lose some interest in them. I mean, especially that trombone. I mean, that trombone's got to go. It's so freaking annoying. It's not even funny. I mean, WWE may find it funny, but I don't. So, yeah, they bring out Sheamus, and then out comes Roman Reigns, and with the Superman punch, and he literally takes the title from Sheamus, and of course it was announced that we would have a it would be Sheamus against Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. But for Roman Reigns to win it, he would have to do it in 5 minutes and 15 seconds. So yeah, so we'll wait and see what happens when it comes to when we talk about the match. But the segment was pretty much, yeah. Fletcher, I give it to you. I'm not going to get any further details on this nonsense.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's a long time no see. It's been a couple of hours. I'm gonna agree with you guys about it too. I mean, it just left a bitter taste in the mouth of a lot of people, and I kind of understand why they would do it. I mean, let's be realistic, and let me call the pot kettle black here. The WWE is in a crisis, and the problem is there's no big name talent. All their biggest names are either out or injured, and look at what's going on with WWE. I mean, so what they do is they bring out the New Day to be that filler, and I didn't understand why they had the confetti at the beginning, for the whole 9 yards. I didn't understand it at all when they had the New Day out there celebrating and this and that, and then they bring out Sheamus, and this was supposed to be a glory moment, saying, how he was the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, how he took the opportunity that was given to him. Thank you, for Roman Reigns for not for not shaking Triple H's hand, because that gave me the opportunity to cash in the Money in the Bank, bro kick you, and make you one of the shortest reigning WWE champions of all time, went at 5 minutes and 15 seconds. But what really got under my skin, and let me tell you guys, there's going to be a few moments that things got under my skin, and this was one of them. Why would you make a match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship where we already know that Roman Reigns is going to get a shot, or Sheamus and Roman are supposed to fight again at Tables, Ladders, and Chairs for the title in Boston? I mean, it almost baffles me sometimes, the idiocy of the WWE. And I'm sorry, man. I mean, Derek Ferreira made a very valid point about how, things about different organizations going on right now with professional wrestling, how he's starting to trail away a little bit of WWE, and it kind of feels like, remember how we got into that point where all three of us were starting to get sick and tired of WWE, and they had to change their tune or things like this or that. And I hate to say it, but it's starting to come back, and it's starting to rear its ugly head again, and it felt very lazy, especially the start of Monday Night Raw. I'm like, are you kidding me? I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the way that it started. There's nothing more to say. Anthony, let's move on.
Yeah. We're not going to be, going in depth as much as we usually do, because, I mean, this was just a show that was, like I said, it was a brutal show, to say the very least.
A short show tonight.
Yeah. So, with that said, we're just going to move on. Next up, we have, here's one of the here's one of the few bright spots of the evening. We had a match with Dolph Ziggler versus Tyler Breeze, a return match from Survivor Series. Winner of the match in 9 minutes and 50 seconds, it was Dolph Ziggler. So, Michael Bullock, we saw this match, Dolph Ziggler against Tyler Breeze, the rematch from Survivor Series. I thought it was better. How about you?
Yeah, I think this is better than the match that they had at Survivor Series. So I'm going to give this probably about 2.5 to 3 stars. I mean, I thought the action was good between the two, and I mean, Tyler Breeze, I mean, I'll be quite honest, he continues to get better and better as he continues to basically, as I like to say, get his feet wet with the main roster. So yeah, I mean, great job by both men. I mean, yeah, it was a short match, but still in that 9.5 minutes, I thought the action was good for what it was. I mean, you knew they were going to have. I mean, yeah, I mean, we we knew that Dolph Ziggler was going to go over here after, of course, Tyler Breeze went over on Dolph Ziggler at Survivor Series. So yeah, so good match, not great. 2.5 to 3 stars is my rating. So Fletcher, I give it to you.
You know, all right, 9.5 minutes, good fight, definitely good match. I don't know, 2.5 to 3. I can only give it 2. I call me harsh, call me whatever you want to call me on this point in the game. I thought it was good. It had some good moments, no doubt about it. I don't know. As much as I am very high on Dolph Ziggler, and I've always been, Tyler Breeze is definitely getting his feet wet, no doubt about it. This was definitely his best performance lately. I think definitely I agree the fight in Survivor Series was a lot better, but I don't know. I just felt like the quality of it just was, yeah. Like I said, it's not. I'm not gonna jump all over it, but I could say two stars is my rating for it. Anthony, it's yours.
I think I'm going to meet you guys in the middle here. I'm actually going to give it the solid 2.5. I'm going to lean more towards Bullock's rating here because there was some good action in this match. I mean, we had some good near falls. A little bit of some Shakespearean drama, not a whole lot, but there was a little bit of some Shakespearean drama in this match, and we were waiting for the right moment, and we were waiting for that one moment where one little move could change the complexion, and we saw it right there. I mean, Ziggler gets that super kick in there out of nowhere and scores the win. So I got to say this was definitely the second best fight of the night. Give it about 2.5 stars. Teeter, yeah, I like that 2.5 to 3 rating. I mean, that's what Bullock and I initially rated it when we saw it. So it's between 2.5 to 3. So I agree with Bullock's rating on this one. So second best fight of the night. So all right, we have a 2-for-1 segment coming up next here. And you know how we do the 2-for-1 segments. We have, usually an in-ring segment, and it leads right into a match, usually right after. And that's exactly what we got here. We got the Bulgarian Rusev on Miz TV. It was a Miz TV segment, and Miz TV's guest, it was Rusev. And the return of Lana. Lana is back. And then follow that up with which would then be interrupted by Ryback, and it would lead into a match between Rusev and Ryback, which Ryback won via countout. I do not have a time of the fall. So with all that said, Michael Fletcher, we started off with you for this go around. Your thoughts on the Miz TV segment, and of course the subsequent match with Rusev and Ryback, 2-for-1.
All right, let me break down the Miz TV first, and then we'll go from there. It's always great to see Lana back. I think we all can agree. She looked absolutely stunning tonight. I think we all can agree with that. I I kind of feel like this was kind of forced. I don't know why. I kind of feel like, you know, they're trying to play something that I don't know. It really didn't feel adequate or legit. And I understand she got, Rusev and Lana both got some monster heat, after their announcement that they were engaged to be married and the whole 9 yards. It broke out through TMZ, and we all were kind of was like, what the heck, how's this going to play out? and the whole 9 yards. Well, now they turn around and they're trying to show that united front that, hey, you know we've always been together, we've been in love. Lana basically was like, well, yes, I did have a brief little thing with Dolph Ziggler, but I'm with Rusev now, and besides, we never went all the way, even though the fans kind of were like, no, yes you did, yes you did. I kind of felt like it was okay, but I'm not gonna, like I said, jump over hoops over this. I think it could have been a lot more better. It could have been a lot more sharper, no doubt about it. As far as the fight goes, I mean, brutally disappointed. Not happy with the fight at all. I kind of felt like it just never really got off the ground. There was this one moment, you know, Rusev basically goes out and Rusev gets hit in the stairs, and the next thing you know, Lana goes down, and it looks like she injured her ankle, and basically Ryback wins via countout. So, I mean, I could call this a dud, straight up. This could be a dud in my mind, and I could even call this, and I should call this, practically the worst fight of the night. I mean, there's really nothing else that could play off this. I mean, the Miz TV segment was okay for what it was worth. The fight was a complete and utter waste of time for me. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, the Miz TV segment, second best segment of the night. I agree with that. Great to see Lana back. I definitely agree with that. I mean, and she definitely looked amazing, no doubt about that. And Rusev came off fine there. Lana came off fine there, and Ryback, when Ryback interrupted that was there was one line that Ryback said during that thing that I kind of got a laugh out of. He said, "This is not an episode of Teen Wolf. This is Monday Night Raw." I like that, and that was pretty much all I can. That was the only real overly positive criticism I can give for that. But other than that, I mean, it was a fine segment for what it was, like Fletch said. So, second best segment of the night as far as that's concerned. And then as far as the match is concerned, I agree with Michael Fletcher. It is an absolute dud. It was the worst fight in the night. We're not going to waste any more time on that. So, Michael Bullock, 2-for-1 time here on the forum for you. The Miz TV segment and the Ryback and Rusev fight. I already know what you thought, but just give us your thoughts anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the Miz TV segment, I thought it was fine for what it was. I mean, basically talking about everything, and then, of course, Lana comes out, and, I mean, it's good to see Lana back, and they talk about how they've been in love and that now they're engaged. Then Ryback basically comes out with the saying, "Hey, it's not Teen Wolf, it's Monday Night Raw." So, yeah, so really nothing more to say about that. So, as far as the match goes, I'm going to make it unanimous. This was an absolute dud. This was the worst fight of the night, so I'm not going to get into any further details on this nonsense. So, Florio, let's just move on.
Yeah. Let's see. Next up here on the wrestling forum, I'm just looking over this real quick. Okay. Okay. I said there were not many positives on this show tonight. Well, this was actually one of the few positives on this show here tonight. And actually, it's yet another 2-for-1 deal. We had those damn Dudleys in the ring. Yep. Bubba and Devon, they cut a promo about the Wyatt family. They had 4 tables set up in the ring, one for each member of the Wyatt family. The Wyatt family shows up. Basically the Dudleys were challenging the Wyatts to a fight. That was pretty much what it was. And Bray Wyatt says, "On behalf of my family, we accept your challenge." And then, the whole Wyatt shtick comes up, and then, we don't see Bray Wyatt, but we see the other 3 members. We see Harper and Rowan and Strowman. and basically 3-on-2. But then he's like, you know what? We kind of had a feeling this was going to happen. So he's like, well, you got your brothers and we got ours. And we're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And then we hear the music, and then all of a sudden, look who shows up out of nowhere. I mean, security in Pittsburgh really must be terrible. They let just about anybody in there. Look who comes back out of nowhere. And I know Michael Fletcher's going to get Fletcher's going to be grinning like the Cheshire Cat, because this is right up his alley. The innovator of violence, Tommy Dreamer. Yes.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Well, that's not the chant. That's not quite the chant I had you doing, Fletch. Well, yeah, I can understand the welcome back chants, obviously, but there was
ECW.
You know it.
ECW.
Yeah. I was saying to Bullock, somewhere Michael Fletcher and Derek Ferrera, because we all know it's well documented. Michael Fletcher and Derek Ferrera, old school ECW aficionados, if you will, and this is right up their alley. I mean, the two of them could do a video by themselves talking about the good old days of ECW, the old school ECW, which the Dudley Boys and Tommy Dreamer were intricate parts of, if I do say so myself. And I'm sure Fletch will touch on that great history when we throw it to him. And I know it brought back some great memories for him to see Dreamer and the Dudleys together. And then it led into a 6-man tag team match with the Dudley Boys and Tommy Dreamer against Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Braun Strowman in a 6-man. It ended in a no contest. So, simply put, as far as the in-ring segment goes, far and away the segment of the night. I mean, I thought it came off really good. I mean, the Dudleys were great. I mean, how great of a talker is Bubba Ray Dudley? Now, Michael Fletcher and I, we know this because we're also TNA fans as well. He was a damn good talker when he was in TNA, when he was Bully Ray. Of course, when he was part of, whether it was Team 3D with Devon or as part of the infamous Aces and Eights, which he was the president of. I mean, he is so damn good on that mic, I tell you. I mean, he's another one of those great promo guys, and I thought he came off really good. Devon came off great too, don't get me wrong, but Bubba is just so much better on the mic than Devon is. Even though I thought Devon came off really good, he came off great. But Bubba is definitely the better talker. I mean, he's always been good on that mic. He's been awesome. And they talked about the Dudley Commandments. And were you fellas not getting flashbacks of nostalgia when Devon brought up that infamous commandment of them all? Thou shalt not mess with the Dudleys. Yeah. Were you not getting flashbacks to the Attitude Era? I know I was. Plain and simple. And then Bray Wyatt, short and sweet, accepted. And then we see Tommy Dreamer. Bullock and I almost had a me and Fletcher moment. We almost we didn't do the Corey and Sean Boy Meets World, but when we saw Tommy Dreamer, Bullock was actually channeling his inner Michael Fletcher by doing the what? Yeah, that was awesome, Bullock. I mean, I gotta commend you for that, man. I mean, you channeled your inner Michael Fletcher there, and I was thinking to myself, good old MF Michael Fletcher would be very proud of you for how you handled that during that segment. So,
you know what? I'm just gonna say this. One of these days, we got to do a 3-man. I want to do a 3-man with you and Bullock.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, provided you don't have work commitments there, Fletch, that would be wonderful. I mean, I've been hoping for that too. Of course, when you think about it from nowadays, I mean, Fletcher, of course, would be the Michael Cole. Bullock would be, in this case, the Byron Saxton, and I would be the JBL. Whereas, if we were going to talk about the good old days, then it would be Michael Fletcher as Gorilla Monsoon, I as a combination of Jesse the Body Ventura and Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Michael Bullock as maybe like a Rowdy Roddy Piper. You know, it would be like that almost, in a way. That's how it would be if the three of us ever did a 3-way. That would be awesome. But But as far as I'm concerned, the segment was awesome. The segment was the segment of the night. The match, well, ended in a with a throwaway finish. So you know how we have to do it. We got to score it in NA. That's all there is to say on that. It's an NA for the match. It's very obvious what's going to happen. We're going to have something really special at TLC. I think what's going to happen is we're going to have ourselves a 6-man tables match with the Dudleys and Tommy Dreamer against Harper, Rowan, and Strowman. With or who knows, maybe Bray Wyatt could join the other three, and then maybe the Dudleys and Dreamer could get one more guy, and we could have ourselves an 8-man tables hardcore gimmick type match in Boston. So, segment was the segment of the night. And as far as the match is concerned, automatic NA, because you know how we rank it, you know how we do it around here. So, but man, oh man, what a moment! I mean, to see Tommy Dreamer in a WWE ring for the first time in God knows how many years. But I know the fans in Pittsburgh were chanting ECW. I was chanting ECW. Bullock was chanting ECW. And I know somewhere Michael Fletcher and Derek Ferrera were definitely chanting ECW, ECW at their TV screens because of that awesome mark-out moment that we saw seeing Tommy Dreamer and the Dudleys together. I may not have been a fan of the old ECW as much as Michael Fletcher and Derek Ferrera were, but I definitely appreciate what those men have done for the business. No doubt about it. Man, was that fun. Even though this Monday Night Raw was a very piss-poor show tonight, that was definitely one of the very few bright spots of this show tonight. Mark-out moment. Doesn't get any better than a mark-out moment. So with all that said, Michael Bullock, the segment with the in-ring segment with the Dudleys there, and then, of course, the 6-man. I mean, I want to get your thoughts on this segment, and then Fletcher as well. So Bullock, it's yours. Well, I don't know if we've lost Bullock unless he forgot to unmute his mic or something. But I guess we're all right. I don't know where Bullock is, so I guess Michael Fletcher. I guess I prevail upon you now, sir. So I know you were having I know you were having those flashbacks of nostalgia to the old school ECW during that whole thing, were you not?
Oh, without a doubt. The segment was amazing. I mean, if you guys are true diehards of ECW, you remember the days of everything that happened in that company, and you saw the violence and everything else. And as a matter of fact, there was a time in ECW. Remember the first ever ECW One Night Stand? The actual main event of that night was the Dudley Boys versus Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman in that fight. And there was a point in the fight where, there was a lot of chaos in that fight. Tommy Dreamer got busted wide open. The Dudleys absolutely cracked him right upside the head with a steel chair and bloodied him up. I mean, you want to talk about a crimson mask? He had it and then some. Then Dawn Marie shows up, basically attacks Tommy Dreamer. The next thing you know, Beulah McGillicuddy shows up, which is actually Tommy Dreamer's real-life wife. And the next thing we know, oh my goodness, a cat fight ensues. I mean, it was absolutely pure insanity what happens here. And at the end of the day, it was absolutely remarkable. And wow. That's all I can say about that. Just wow, 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 wow. It was a great segment and then some, and it was a great way to start the show. It was amazing how they played it and how amazing it was. To see Tommy Dreamer back, I think, yeah, it was very nostalgic because at first I was thinking in my mind, oh, I mean, it could be Spike Dudley, it could be anybody else. I was thinking it was going to be somebody very, of the new rail, and it wasn't. It was somebody out of nowhere. Tommy Dreamer shows up, and it was a remarkable scene. It was pretty awesome. Then the next thing you know, um, we get into the fight, and yeah, the fight was thrown out. Well, the reason why it was thrown out because the Wyatt family was crying foul and umbrage because of the fact that Bray Wyatt, well, he went through a table. In the immortal words of Joey Styles, oh my God. Well, I'm not doing it like I normally would do it. I'm trying to save my voice because it's been a long night. But no, if I would have been there, if I would have seen it, I would have done the Joey Styles. Oh my God! Then I know Floyd would probably go on hyperventilating and everything else because of the way I would do it. Mike Bullock probably would have done the same thing. Who knows? But no, it was a great segment. The fight itself is an NA. I think Floyd, you established that because the fight did end in a wonky finish, so NA automatically. But, the segment was good. I agree, second best segment of the night, and it is what it is. So let's go from there.
Well, I said it was the segment of the night, Fletch. The Miz TV segment was the second best segment of the night. So, Michael Bullock, if you're back in, I just wanted to get your quick thoughts on this segment here, or I could just move on. Yeah, it looks like I'm just gonna have to move on. Not sure. I'm not sure what happened to Bullock. I don't know if he stepped out or what happened. But,
he probably stepped out.
Yeah, there's a good chance. So so with all that said, we're just gonna move on. Just gonna move on to our next match. Here on the Wrestling Forum, it was the United States Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio, along with Zeb Coulter, going one-on-one with Goldust. Winner of the match in an even 2 minutes, it was the United States Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio via his Warrior's Way-like maneuver. So since we don't have Bullock for the foreseeable moment here, Michael Fletcher, I guess we're going to have to start it with you. Your thoughts on Del Rio and Goldust?
Absolute disappointment, no doubt about it. One of the worst fights of the night. I think we both can agree with that, Florio. I think you absolutely agreed with that as well. It was just to establish Del Rio as a champion, the whole 9 yards, and there's really nothing more to say about that. But what I will take away from it is that the Jack Swagger versus Del Rio rivalry is definitely a hot one, and it's really starting to establish a lot more. And believe it or not, I'm actually intrigued. The way that they're doing it, the storyline that's behind it, I'm actually happy with this. So no doubt about it, I liked it. At the end of the day, I didn't care about the fight, but I did care more about the post-fight and what might become after. So at the end of the day, that's all I'll say about that. Dud for the fight, but the post-fight was actually a lot better than the actual fight itself. So with that said, Florio, go ahead.
Yeah. I know the fight should be rated a dud. I know it should be, but I didn't really see that much bad action. I mean, there was some halfway decent action in that even in that very short allotted time. I mean, there was some actual good stuff there a little bit. I mean, yeah, the match was way too short. I mean, and I agree with Fletch. It was definitely a disappointment considering that I don't believe Del Rio and Goldust have ever fought each other before. But you would think with the body of work of those two guys, we were going to get, maybe even a possible sleeper fight of the night candidate. But no, not this time. I'm actually going to give, I know I'm being generous here, but I'm giving this 1 star for the effort. I mean, because, I thought there was a decent and solid effort, during that fight. I mean, we did get a couple of good near falls from both men, and there was actually some good offense there. So I'm actually going to give it a solid 1 for the effort, and I am going to call it, maybe the second worst fight of the night, if I'm going to be quite honest. So that's pretty much it on that. Um, I'm not sure if Bullock is back in, but yeah, I'm guessing not. So I guess I'm just going to move on to our next to what we have up next here on the Wrestling Forum, and it was a number one contenders match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. It was the Lucha Dragons, Sin Cara and Kalisto, going up against the Usos, Jimmy and Jay. Of course, the winning team would face the New Day for the tag team titles at TLC. This fight actually ends in a no contest. I don't have a time of the fall or anything. So if it's another no contest, of course, this is another NA, obviously, another NA fight here. And, it was fine for what it was, but unfortunately, New Day gets involved. Bullock and I had a sinking feeling that we were gonna get, a clunky finish in this one, and that's exactly what happened. And well, Stephanie McMahon turns the tables on this, if you will, and they had a little backstage segment, and she says the Lucha Dragons and the Usos are in, but the Usos shot was in jeopardy because of what we saw, what we're going to talk about in a little bit. I'll set that whole thing up in a moment. So it's an NA, but obviously we're looking at a triple threat match here. New Day versus the Lucha Dragons versus the Usos for the Tag Team Championship at TLC in Boston, and I think it's going to be a ladder match. That's how I feel about it. So with all that said, Michael Fletcher, your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, it's an NA for me as well because of the way that the fight ended, but the concept was a good idea. I didn't mind the number one contender spot being up for grabs. I thought the fight, if you really looked at it on paper, I actually thought the fight was going to be a lot better than it panned it out to be. I definitely was a little disappointed with the outcome and the ending, but I thought for the most part, I thought it was okay. But you kind of understand that they're trying to create this thing that the New Day are trying to be scared champions, that they don't want to have this competition or anything like that because they don't want to deal with anybody because they know that the Usos are definitely a major threat, and they're starting to make the Lucha Dragons look like a legitimate threat in the tag team division. So I mean, at the end of the day, you just deal with what you deal with and you get what you get. Disappointing? Yes. Was it predictable? Absolutely. I think you're spot on about that, Florio. But like I said, it is what it is. Let's move on.
Yep, we will move on indeed. Unless Bullock is back in, but I'm guessing he's not. So yeah, we are just going to move on indeed. Well, this is the first of 2 times I'm going to be saying this tonight. Are you ready for some hot Divas action? And I know in this particular case, Michael Fletcher is going to say, oh, hell yes, I'm ready. Because it was Brie Bella, accompanied by Alicia Fox, no Nikki Bella, going up against your girl, Fletch, the boss, Sasha Banks. Well, not just your girl, also your 2184 crew mentor, Bill McConnell. I know the love affair you two have with Sasha Banks, and rightfully so. The beauty from Boston, of course, flaked by her Team Bad compadres, Naomi and Tamina. Winner of the match in an even 5 minutes, it was Sasha Banks via the Banks statement. It's only fitting Michael Fletcher gets to start this off. So, Michael Fletcher, your girl Sasha Banks against Brie Bella. Did this match deliver, and how impressive was your girl tonight?
It was good, not great. I mean, it was a solid fight. I think we all can agree with that. I could probably say this was kind of one of the top fights of the night, but I'm not really, as you can tell, I'm not overly jumping up and down about the fight itself, but I will say that I really thought that this could have been a lot better. Um, but I could give this about maybe 1.5 stars. But like I said, you had a little bit of the interference again. Basically, you had Tamina and Naomi trying to play rough shot. They did take out um, Alicia Fox during the fight, and I mean, she absolutely got torn apart. A super kick right into the face, and that was that with her. Uh, then you see Brie Bella trying to get herself back into the fight, trying to go into that Brie mode like she always does, but Naomi distracts, gets a little disoriented. Next thing you know, backstabber reels her back right into the bank statement, and we already know what that means. We already know what that means. The minute you get into bank statement, that's it. You're done. It's only just a matter of time until you start tapping out, and she indeed did tap out. And big win for Sasha Banks. She beat Bella. I mean, the IWC is probably going to be loving that, and then some, because of the fact of how much they despise the Bella Twins, especially at this point in the game. But it is what it is. I'm not going to go too much more with this. Like I said, 1 to 1.5 stars is my rating for the fight. Anthony, it's yours.
Give it 1.5 stars for the effort. I mean, because it was a fine match for what it was. I'm glad Sasha went over. I mean, Bullock and I talked about it earlier. I mean, we feel like Sasha Banks is kind of getting lost in the shuffle a little bit as far as the whole Divas Revolution thing is concerned. I mean, but I told him, you know what? I told Bullock, hey, don't worry about it. She's going to get her time. Don't worry. Her time is going to come, and you can believe that. I don't know if it's going to be, considering that, we're almost done with 2015. I mean, in 10 minutes, we're going to be in the final month, 2015, and then we go into 2016. I'm thinking 2016, Sasha Banks is definitely going to get her moment. Believe me. She will be Divas champion sometime next year. I honestly believe that. The girl's too good. And she proved it here tonight against a very worthy opponent in Brie Bella, a former champion in her own right. She goes over on her, and that's pretty much all I can say about that. So, fine match for what it was. It was just, it was just a little short for my liking, but it was fine for what it was. So, I'll actually even give it 1.5 to 2, between 1.5 and 2 for the effort. Solid match. It was just too short. So, okay. Interesting matchup coming up here. It's very rare we get one of these on television nowadays, but nonetheless, we got one. A WWE World Heavyweight Championship match on television. Champion, the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus, defending against challenger and technically former champion, Roman Reigns. A lot of stipulations in this. This was, in essence, a beat-the-clock challenge type match. They kept doing this reference about how Roman held the belt for 5 minutes and 15 seconds at Survivor Series before Sheamus cashed in and won the belt and all that. So the Authority throws in the caveat. Yeah, you're gonna get Sheamus doesn't want to wait till TLC. We're actually gonna do the title match tonight. However, the only way you can win the belt, Roman, is if you beat Sheamus. You either pin or make Sheamus submit in 5 minutes and 15 seconds or less. And if you don't, you lose your title shot at TLC. Dean Ambrose loses his Intercontinental Heavyweight title shot against Kevin Owens. And the Usos lose their spot in the triple threat match with the New Day and the Luchas for the tag team titles at TLC. A lot was on the line here. The winner of the match, in 4 minutes and 38 seconds, I believe, because there was 37 seconds left on the clock. So I think that's about 4 minutes and 38 seconds or so. Roman Reigns wins the match, but he does not win the title because he won the match via disqualification after outside interference from Sheamus's newfound friends and newly formed stable here tonight. Yes, a new stable was formed here tonight, a new faction, if you will. We got Sheamus, we got King Barrett, we got Rusev, and we got the United States Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio. And what are these four international superstars known as? The League of Nations. The match, probably about 1 to 1.5 for the effort. But I'll tell you what. There's only one thing that really comes out of this. A new stable. The League of Nations. And I was telling Bullock, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's about time we got a new dominant faction here. Something other than the Authority. And something other than the campy comedy of the New Day. We've got 4 legitimate, badass superstars here. Sheamus as the champion of the world. And then you throw in the United States Heavyweight Champion and once former rival, Alberto Del Rio, who he affectionately used to call Birdie, which I thought was kind of funny back when they were rivaling a few years ago over that World Heavyweight title, that big gold belt. And then, of course, you got Barrett, Bad News Barrett, the King of the Ring from this year, King Barrett. And then you got the Bulgarian Brute Rusev, a former U.S. Heavyweight Champion himself. Think about this. We got Ireland, we got England, Bulgaria, and Mexico. That's the League of Nations right there. Absolutely love it. This is going to be one fun stable to watch. Now, we've seen our fair share of stables in the days. Our all-time favorites, between the three of us, our favorite stables, obviously the 4 Horsemen, the Fortune 4, D-Generation X. So many other. Nowadays, of course, Derek Ferrera rides with the Bullet Club, obviously. Of course, we can't forget about the Kingdom in Ring of Honor. And then, DX, the 4 Horsemen, the NWO. The McMahon-Helmsley faction and the Authority and all that. But the greats, I'm very intrigued by this new stable. I really am. The match may have been a rather may have been average and mediocre and all that good stuff. We expected it to be. We were expecting Authority shenanigans in this fight. But I'll tell you what. The match may have been 1 to 1.5, but we got ourselves a new faction and a faction that I am very intrigued with and a faction that I am very much looking forward to seeing how they progress in the weeks and the months to come. Absolutely love it. I didn't like the match. The match was, all right, but the League of Nations, absolutely love it. Michael Fletcher, how about it?
Yeah, I agree. 1 star, 1 to 1.5 stars is my rating for the WWE World Heavyweight Title fight. Again, I made my opinion about why I didn't like the idea of seeing the title fight happen tonight. I really didn't like the premise of it, that he had to win in 5 minutes and 15 seconds, and on top of that, to put all that pressure to say that if he doesn't win, he doesn't get the title shot. If Ambrose loses his IC title shot and the Usos loses their tag team title shot, I didn't like that at all. I kind of expected the ending, and I expected that it was going to end in a DQ finish, but what really surprised me was the League of Nations. And thank God they called them they call themselves the League of Nations, because I swear to you, if they would have gone and called themselves like the International Men of Honor or something like that, I swear to you, my phone would have been blowing up from my boys at the RWA, because they would have absolutely been yelling gimmick infringement on that crap. So thank God that they call themselves the League of Nations and saved me from getting an earful, because like I said, I got a couple. I'm pretty simpatico with a few of the guys, and I think definitely the Irish Warrior and Mr. Sterling and Dante and them boys would have absolutely would have been crying absolute foul if that would have happened. So they saved me from getting from me have to going on a cerebral viper rant. So I actually like the League of Nations. It actually is pretty good, but if you look at it geographically, it doesn't add up. Because now I know a lot of people is like, huh, Mike, what are you talking about? Mexico is North America. The other three are all from Europe. Bulgaria, um, Ireland, and England. They all are from Europe. The only oddball is, like I said, Alberto Del Rio. Now here's the thing. I think if Antonio Cesaro was healthy and still active, I think he would be the fourth man on this international in this League of Nations, because I think you would have the perfect European blend right there, because you would have had the Swiss Superman representing Switzerland, Bulgaria, England, and Ireland. I think that would have been perfect. To put Del Rio there is kind of, I kind of feel like, okay, I don't mind it, but it doesn't fit. Now, if you saw later in the evening, they actually rallied around, and well, what am I doing? I'm getting a little bit too ahead of myself. I'll wait till later on in the night to talk about something else. But for this, yeah, I'll give it about like 1 to 1.5 stars. But I'm with you. I definitely like the League of Nations name, but like I said, thank God they did not call themselves the International Men of Honor, because if they did, like I said, I would have had to go on a Mikey rant, because I have to defend my boys at the Renegade Wrestling Alliance, because they had the name of the International Man of Honor, and basically, like I said, you don't need to know anything more than that. I'll just leave it at that. If you want to know, I'm more than willing to tell you who they were, but I'll leave it at that. So, Florio, it's yours.
Of course, I'm going to keep asking. I don't know if Bullock is. I don't know if Bullock has found his way back in yet, but I'm hoping he has, because I really would have loved to have had his thoughts about the League of Nations, and well, obviously, I guess he's still out of it. So, but yeah, we're gonna move on. We will move on. Hopefully, we'll get Bullock back in due time before the show's over. So, all right. Moving on now, it is the second of our it's the second of our two Diva matches here. We had the Divas champion Charlotte, accompanied by her old man, my man, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, going up against her bestie, her tag team partner, Becky Lynch. Because we all know there was a backstage segment where Becky Lynch wanted a match with Charlotte, just to play off their old NXT days, and Charlotte was like, on one condition, that my father is since my dad's in town, I want to have him in my corner. So there you go. So with all that said, we had the match, and the winner of the match in 4 minutes and 40 seconds, it was Charlotte. She faked an injury. She played possum. Ric Flair jumps on the apron, and then Charlotte nips up, and then gets a dreaded roll-up finish. So, So there you go. So with all that said, Michael Fletcher, your thoughts on this?
Charlotte Flair, you naughty little minx. That's all I gotta say about that. Oh my goodness, man. I mean, poor Becky Lynch, man. I think the red hair is more than just she was enraged after this fight was over. She was perplexed. She couldn't even figure it out. She's like, "What? What just happened?" It was an okay fight, but I think and I don't know how you feel about this, Florio, but I thought the Sasha Banks versus Nikki Bella, or I should say the Brie Bella fight was probably better than this. But it was okay for what it was worth. I loved to see Nate. I thought Nate was awesome, as always. And, I kind of feel like it was one of those, it was an okay fight. It was a good match. Um, the injury angle kind of came out of nowhere, and then on top of that, then you got the dreaded roll up of Doom for the 1-2-3. So I mean, I liked the ending, but then she talked about how this was tough love and that we need to elevate our game and this and that, and I'm like, really, Charlotte? I'm like, I understood if Paige was going to be a heel, but you being a heel now? I don't know about that. Maybe it might work. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to make Becky Lynch a sympathizing figure. Trust me, she doesn't really need any sympathizing. She's drop dead gorgeous. And and I might get myself in trouble for this, but I would not mind going on a date with that Irish beauty that she is. So that's just me alone. I'll leave it at that. I'm probably going to hear it from a few of my boys tomorrow. Oh, no. I'm probably going to hear it from a few of the guys. They're probably going to razz me for that one. But, no, I mean, 1 star is probably the rating for the fight. I kind of am a little intrigued to see what they're about to do with Charlotte. It looks like they might probably be grooming her for a possible heel turn, and of course now Paige is saying, "You see, Becky, you see, I told you she was dirty. She's the daughter of Ric Flair, the dirtiest player in the game. You never trust a Flair." Well, unfortunately, on this night, Paige was absolutely correct. You don't trust a Flair, not at all, when it comes to one-on-one fights or anything else. And did you see how she was very hesitant at first when she heard that these two were going to fight one-on-one, and she thought that the title was going to be on the line, and then she kind of eased up when she found out non-title. I'm like, there's some compelling arguments here. There's a compelling storyline here that is actually a must need and a must want, because if you kind of think about it, Anthony, the so-called Diva Revolution is starting to show its wear now. So now they gotta, now that the 15 minutes of fame is over, now you have to deliver. And for the most part, unfortunately, it hasn't delivered. And I hate to say this, and I know I'm probably going to get some no's, but a lot of people felt like the division was actually better when Nikki Bella was the reigning champion. The reason why was because Nikki could generate enough heat and enough controversy that whatever was done, it didn't matter. And yeah, she was getting better in the ring and the whole 9 yards. But the one thing that really made the division so bad was that people hated Nikki because A, she was going for the record, B, who she's affiliated with, and C, her character was so bad enough that people just loved to hate her. Where I kind of hate to say this, and I know I'm going to get some heat for this, but I think Charlotte Flair is coming off boring. I'm sorry. I mean, she was good in NXT, but I'm not believing her as Divas Champion in WWE. It's not translating. It's not working for me. Um, like I said, my opinions and my opinions alone. It's yours.
Oh boy, I don't know how I'm going to follow that, but yeah, the fight was 1 to 1.5. It was fine for what it was. I mean, could have been better. I mean, considering the wars these two had in NXT, and now Jason Powell pretty much said it best. He's saying, "Is Charlotte turning heel, or is she like a Bella? You know, turning from segment to segment, or something like that." Here's the quote. This is what Jason Powell had to say. So is Charlotte turning heel, or is she going through some weird Bella-like thing where she's going to turn back and forth from segment to segment? Are we supposed to cheer for Charlotte, who took advantage of her friend, or are we supposed to root for all-out heel Paige when they meet at TLC? Just when it seemed like the characters were settling into clear babyface and heel slots, this happens, and I'm more confused than ever. I think we all are. Those are the words of Jason Powell right there, our good friend from ProWrestling.net. Yeah, 4-minute and 40-second match. Yeah, I agree. The Sasha and Brie Bella fight was a smidge better. This is a 1 to 1.5 here, and who knows? Could there be maybe a possible triple threat match at TLC with Charlotte defending against both Paige and Becky Lynch, and then Team PCB can really completely implode? Wouldn't surprise me. So that was pretty much it. So with all that said, it's main event time. It was supposed to be an 8-man tag team match. The League of Nations, Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio, King Barrett, and Rusev against Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and the Usos. Hold the phone. It was not 4-on-4. It ended up being a 7-on-4 handicap match as the New Day was added to the League of Nations team per the Authority. And the winners of the match, in 25 minutes and 10 seconds, the League of Nations and the New Day, after a bro kick by Sheamus on Dean Ambrose. By default, this is the fight of the night. I would probably say in excess of 3 to 3.5 stars at the absolute best. I mean, because it was slow at times, and there was a lot of heel domination here, and yeah, and then we had a big old brawl at the end, but the heels stood tall this time around. The League of Nations and the New Day standing united as one, standing tall at the end of the show. So, and Michael Cole said it best: "This is the state of the WWE right now." So, but yeah, I mean, it was a fine match for what it was. I mean, it was by default the fight of the night, even though it didn't really blow me away. That's why I'm only giving it between 3 to 3.5 stars. You would think a match with that much. I mean, when you have a match that gets that much time, 25 minutes and 10 seconds, you would think, oh, that's got to be at least 4.5, maybe even 5-star level. No. Slow and sleepy at times. I mean, yeah, it got hot at the end, but I can only give it 3 to 3.5 stars for the effort, and that's it. So with all that said, Michael Fletcher, your thoughts on this 7-on-4 handicap main event?
Yeah, very disappointing to say the very least. But I'm with you. At least 2.5 stars is my rating for the fight as well. It could have been good when it was 4-on-4, but they had to stack the deck against Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and the Usos. And if you remember in the fight, it turned into 7-on-3 because one of the Usos actually got hurt. another leg injury. So I mean, if
Yeah, Jimmy Uso. Yeah.
Jimmy Uso, I mean, God, these Usos don't cannot catch a break at all, you know. So it's so unfortunate. Another injury for WWE. Hopefully this is not serious. Um, but it is what it is. So like I said, there's the fight. So Floyo, it's yours.
And that's going to put the bow on this edition. Well, actually, before we do that, we have our overall review of Monday Night Raw. Still not sure if Michael Bullock has if Bullock is back in yet or what's going on with him. I'm guessing he's not. So, Michael Fletcher, if you could sum up this particular edition of Monday Night Raw tonight, how would you do so?
Lackadaisical, boring, horrible, kind of leaving nothing to chance, making everything go wrong. Back to the drawing board, WWE, and more importantly, it leaves me guessing what the heck, and that thank God I don't have to cover WWE anymore after tonight. At least we can worry about something better. It being either uh, I got my own wrestling thing that I gotta do on Saturday, so I'm gonna be worrying about that. Um, the Strictly Sports, college football, and the NFL. We got that coming up this week. So there's a lot of other things that we don't have to worry about. Overall rating, 2.5 to 3 stars is my rating for the show. It was, like I said, it was just as bad as last week's show. I could even say it might have been even worse. And that's horrible to say, but my thoughts only. So 2.5 to 3 is my rating. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, this was a horrific edition of Monday Night Raw here tonight. And I don't know what else there is to say, except I hate to say it, but I think you kind of overscored the show tonight. I thought it was actually worse than that, if I'm going to be honest with you. Now, I'm not going to give it a 0 out of 10, although I have every right to. I'm actually just going to come out and say it like this. I'm actually going to give it between 1 to 2 out of 10. A 1 to 2 out of 10 tonight for this show. I mean, yeah, you had that great moment with the Dudleys and Tommy Dreamer reuniting and all that, but this show was just poorly booked. It was lazy booking at its absolute finest, or its absolute worst, whatever you want to call it. I mean, lazy booking took over here tonight. I thought last week was the throwaway show because of Thanksgiving and whatnot, but Thanksgiving's come and gone. So now we move on to, of course, the build up to Christmas now, obviously, but the thing is, oh, God, guys, I mean, this was so much more bad than good. I mean, the only few positives, of course, that main event, if you can call it a main event, the Breeze and Ziggler fight, and that Dudley segment with Tommy Dreamer showing up. So, but everything else was just there. All the other matches were rather meh and everything else. So for my taste, this is a 1 to 2 out of 10 for me, and I can honestly say this was the worst Monday Night Raw of 2015 so far. So I was kind of hoping we would get Bullock's thoughts on this. I have no idea what the heck happened to him. I don't know if he stepped out or if something else happened, but I hope he's all right. So yeah, we're just gonna have to put the bow on this edition of the Wrestling Forums. So of course, you know how we're gonna do it. We're gonna wrap it up with our shout outs, and Michael Fletcher, we're just gonna start it off with you, and then I'll set up the future content. So Fletch, your shout outs.
All right. Yes, indeed. First off, I want to say thank you to the great fans out there. You guys are the best in the world, as always. Of course, I also want to give our shout-outs to our super fans out there. You guys already know who you guys are. Special shout-outs to the great to my friends in the junior high and high school days. You guys already know who you guys are. To the 2184 crew, I love you guys. We've been through a lot in the last week, with Black Friday and everything else, but we made it out. We definitely got out of there unscathed. And like I said, I want to give a special shout out to the men and women of the Renegade Wrestling Alliance, the RWA. Like I said, I want to once again reiterate this for all of you great fans out there. And Anthony, I hope you would do this for me as a favor. Please leave. I did do a preview video for the show. I did make a mistake, and I don't know why it did not pan out. I guess it was just something that happened, but I just want to take a split second just to show you. I'm not going to show you the full fight or anything else for the upcoming show, but I do wanted it to show you this. I don't know if this is going to come off looking great on screen, but I'm actually going to screen share this. So, Floyo, tell me if you see it or not. You see it, Tony?
Just unmuting my mic. Yes, I do.
Okay, well, what this is this is the actual bracket that I was telling you about. On Saturday afternoon, there's a tournament that's going to be held for the RWA Hype Championship. Now, the Hype Championship, I can probably say this is like the equivalent, Anthony, of the Intercontinental and the United States titles. This is the secondary belt of the Renegade Wrestling Alliance, and what happened is that man below with that beautiful woman was the former champion, Cipriano Abruzzi. If you were listening to my video, he suffered an injury. There was a car accident, and he got hurt pretty badly and was forced to retire from the company and forfeit that belt. So now the belt is vacated, and one of these 8 men will become the new Hype champion. Who will that be? Well, the tournament will happen at 3:30 in the afternoon at the RWA Chop Shop at 681 Broadway. It's a free event, folks. So all you guys in the Rhode Island and Massachusetts area, please come on down. Support this company. They are an absolute joy to have, and I have nothing bad to say about them. Like I said, I've gotten very familiar with a lot of the guys from the company, and they're become really close friends of mine, and they've actually have asked for you guys to show up. On more than one occasion, they would love to see Derek, Anthony, and Michael Bullock come on down. So if you do decide to do it, the show is free. The Christmas Chaos event is $10 to get in if you're an adult, $5 for kids. I think it's like from if 5 years old and up, and then below 5 is for free. If you have, for that. And of course, the main event is the Christmas Chaos Throwdown fight, the equivalent of the Royal Rumble. 30 superstars of the Renegade Wrestling Alliance battling it out, and the winner gets a championship fight in the main event for the Triple Crown Championship, which is the equivalent of the World Heavyweight title, a major event. Plus, on top of that, the two big fights that's going down, a career-ending match, and the Triple Crown Championship will be defended. The reigning champion, the Unbalanced Messiah, Christopher Dozier, putting the title on the line against Jammin' Jack Connor. Great event to say. Great professional wrestling for all to see, and I hope you guys do come on down. Like I said, I will be there. I don't know who else will be there, but I will say this. Anthony, please leave the link at the bottom of the video. It's rwawrestling.net, and then on top of that, please see my preview video. Floyo, I'll provide you the link in the chat box so that you can put that in as well. So with that said, I'm Mike Fletcher. You know the routine. Jose and pounds. I'm out. Good night.
I think I just saw some activity on Michael Bullock's end. Are you back in now, Bullock?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened to you?
Well, well, let's just say, so, well, we'll talk about it in the after we're done here.
Yeah. I don't even remember where you even left off before you disappeared. Was it right around the Dudley segment or something like that?
I think so.
Because you talked about the Ryback and Rusev, I think. I'm pretty sure you did.
Yeah. That's where I left off with the with that.
Yeah, so we got plenty of time here. I mean, we didn't have much to say about much of this stuff here tonight, so thankfully we got plenty of time here. We got plenty of time to kill here, so we're just gonna get you caught up, and then you can do your shout-outs after you get caught up. Of course, the segment with the Dudley Boys and the return of Tommy Dreamer, and then that that 6-man with the Dudleys and Dreamer against the Wyatts. So thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, of course, the Dudleys, of course, they call out the. Of course, they talk about what happened when they've been getting beaten up by the Wyatt family, and including getting put through a table. So yeah, so they call them out, and they call out the Wyatt family, and Bray says, you know what, my family accepts. So he basically says, you know what, be careful what you wish for, and then they surround the ring, and basically, of course, Bubba Ray basically said, you know what, we have our own family, and who comes out? Tommy Dreamer. And I mean, me and Floria, when we were watching this, we were like, what? But yeah, great to see the Innovator of Violence come out, and yeah, so now, of course, we get a 6-man tag team match with the Dudley Boys and Tommy Dreamer against the Wyatt family. So what was the time of that fall, Florio?
Well, I muted my mic for a moment. Yeah, I don't have a time of the fall. They didn't give one.
All right.
That ended in no contest anyway. You know how we do that. NA.
Yeah. As far as I'm gonna say NA on it, since since it didn't go that long. So, but yes, I mean afterwards, of course, basically, Bray Wyatt. I mean, just when it looked like the Dudleys were going through a table again, well, that certainly did not happen. So, yeah, so NA on the fight. So, yeah, so really got nothing more to say. So, let's move on to, I think it's the next match.
Yeah, Alberto Del Rio versus Goldust, which Del Rio won in 2 minutes.
I'm gonna give it 1 star for the effort. I mean, it was just way too short for my liking, and but yeah, really got nothing more to say. So 1 star. Florio, let's move on.
Yeah, then we had the tag team. We had that #1 contenders match for the tag team championship, the Lucha Dragons against the Usos, which of course ended also in a no contest.
Once again, another NA for me. So, yeah, of course, now there is no #1 contender for the. But of course, basically, after the match, I mean, backstage, Stephanie McMahon says, you know what? There is a triple threat match with, of course, the New Day, the Luchas, and of course the Usos. That is, if Roman Reigns, of course, won his match. So, Yeah, so another NA for me. So Florio, of course, I think it's Brie Bella and
Sasha Banks.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks versus Brie Bella. Sasha Banks winning that in 5 minutes.
All right. How did you rank that?
We rated. Well, I rated it between 1.5 to 2, and I think Fletch just gave it straight up 1.5. So it was right around 1.5 to 2 on
Yeah,
our end.
yeah. I'm gonna say 1.5 to 2 stars. So I mean, yeah, the match was fine for what it was, but I mean, yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. So let's move on to what I thought was an odd match here. So with Roman
Yes.
Reigns and Sheamus.
Roman Reigns and Sheamus for the World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, Reigns had to win in 5:15, 5 minutes and 15 seconds. That is, of course, if he didn't, then he loses his shot. Ambrose loses his Intercontinental shot, and the Usos lose out on their tag title shot. Roman Reigns won the match via disqualification, but then we had the forming of a brand new stable, Michael Bullock, the League of Nations, with Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio, King Barrett, and Rusev. Your thoughts on the match and your thoughts on the League of Nations?
Yeah. I mean, how did you rank that match for Florio?
We rated it about 1 to 1.5.
Yeah, 1 to 1.5 stars. I mean, I mean, it was fine for what it was, but I mean, yeah, of course, I really like the forming of that League of Nations. So yeah, so I'm pretty sure you pretty much touched on it. So let's just move on to the next match.
Yeah, and it was the second Diva fight. It was Charlotte versus Becky Lynch, with Charlotte winning in 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Your thoughts on that match and the oddball finish?
Yeah. How did you rank that, Florio?
I think we gave that about 1 to 1.5 on that too.
Yeah, it's about another 1 to 1.5. I mean, match was all right. I mean, it's just that I did not like the roll up finish. So, but yeah, I mean it's odd what we saw with Ric Flair. I mean, looking like he was distracting Becky Lynch, and then we get the roll up. So the big question now is, I mean, are we going to see a heel turn from either one of these two? I think it's looking more and more like Becky Lynch because remember Paige was back there as well, basically trying to quote unquote stir up the pot. So yeah, so really got nothing more to say. So 1 to 1.5. So so there's really nothing more to say. So I think it's time for the 8-man tag.
Yes, indeed. Just want to make sure I have my notes here. Yes, it was the main event. It was supposed to be 4-on-4 match with the League of Nations against Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and the Usos, and then New Day gets added via the Authority. So it was a 7-on-4 match, League of Nations and New Day against Roman, Dean Ambrose, and the Usos. League of Nations and New Day win the match in 25 minutes and 10 seconds of time. So, your thoughts on this main event?
Yeah, I mean, how did you rank that?
Fletcher gave it between 2 to 2.5. I gave it between 3 to 3.5, and we gave it default fight of the night.
I'm gonna say 2.5. 2.5 stars is my rating. So yeah, so I mean, I thought it was a fine main event. I mean, really nothing to write home about. So yeah, so really nothing more to say. So as far as my overall thoughts, I mean, how did you rate this edition of Raw?
Fletcher gave it between 2.5 to 3 out of 10. I actually gave it between 1 to 2 out of 10. However you want to grade it.
I'm gonna go 1.5 out of 10. I mean, I really just wasn't feeling this edition of Raw. So
Definitely.
I mean, it was I have to say it probably one of, if not the worst Raw of 2015. So
Definitely the worst.
yeah, definitely the worst. So I'm not going to get into any further details on it. So I'm
Yeah.
just going to give you my shout out. So
Yes.
of course, shout outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's this or Strictly Sports. It doesn't matter. We really appreciate it, and of course, shout outs to our super fans, Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, Matt Ward, and Jason Nixonball. And of course, shout outs to all of our friends from our high school days, of course, starting with Al Britterson, Jimmy Alden, Rob Parsons, Eric Carrier, Tom Souza, First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Megan Silva, the First Lady of Strictly Sports, Kaisa Butler. So, and of course to Derek, the hardcore pipe bomb Derek Ferreira, who, basically continues his success with the sports blog. So, yeah, so that's going to pretty much do it for me. So until Thursday night for Strictly Sports College Football Thursday, this is the Phenom Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for listening to us. And of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your week. And until Thursday night for Strictly Sports College Football Thursday, you've been watching the Wrestling Forum here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. So that's pretty much. So Floria, did you do your shoutouts?
No, I didn't because.
So yeah, I'll toss it to you now.
Yeah. So yeah, very strange to say the very least there, Bullock. We're definitely gonna have to talk about that as soon as we wrap up here.
Well, let's just say I accidentally dozed off a little bit.
Yeah, I think you've done that before. So
Yeah, I've done it before. So
yeah, we've had our moments. So
yeah, we've had our moments. So
yeah. No worries about that. But yeah, of course, special shout outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make the Wrestling Forum as well as Strictly Sports College Football Thursday or NFL Friday as ridiculously over as they are. We appreciate it as always. Best fans in the world, you already know that. Of course, all of our super fans out there like Dee Woodson and Kevin Woodson and the entire Woodson family, along with Matt Ward and Jason Hicksonbaugh and Daniel Luttrell from the UK, Megan Silva and Kaisa Butler, along with the rest of our crew, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Britterson, and Rob Parsons, who's coming off a birthday recently. And, of course, last but certainly not least, we can't forget about him, the man, the myth, the legend, our hardcore pipe bomb, Derek Ferreira. The sports blog blowing up, to say the very least. I mean, it's going to be forever and a day before we see him on our shows again. But you never know. I mean, he could pop in once in a rare while. And these shows have not been the same without him. But until he's ready to come back, hey, I'm happy that we can still keep the tradition going and keep the forum and Strictly Sports and all that alive. So I'm glad and I've really enjoyed doing spearheading having the keys to the car all this time. I mean of course Fletcher gets it once in a while, so there you go. So Derek Ferreira, we're thinking of you, and we missed you here, buddy. And Sports Blog, I mean, keep up the continued great work with that. I mean, that thing's blowing up, and continues to be a damn good read. And he posted something really good today, and that's all there is to it. And hopefully we'll get you on either this show or one of the Strictly Sports shows soon enough. So best wishes to you, Derek, and that's all there is to it. And I'll save the rest of my shout-outs for Friday night when we do NFL Fridays. So, of course, future content, we don't have much, but we do have, of course, we will have the return of College Football Thursday. Of course, we didn't have a College Football Thursday last week, obviously, because of Thanksgiving. Of course, we had the Football Feast show on Wednesday to take that place, and of course, that was a great show. Of course, this College Football Thursday, I mean, what we got coming up? I mean, what else is there to say except two little words: championship week, conference championship games, and a whole lot more. Of course, we'll get into the SEC championship with Alabama and Florida, the Big Ten championship, Michigan State and Iowa, the ACC Championship, North Carolina against Clemson, the American Athletic Championship with Temple and Houston. I mean, but those are the you know the real, and of course the Pac-12 Championship with USC and Stanford. I mean, so many great championship games. Of course, there's some other top 25 action. We'll get into that on Thursday night, and then of course Friday night NFL Friday. I mean, a somewhat underwhelming slate of NFL games, but we'll get into them anyway, and that's pretty much it. So college football Thursday and NFL Friday, and then next Monday night for this show, when it goes up to Charleston, South Carolina. So that, which I do believe will be the go-home show for the TLC pay-per-view. So, wow, already. So feel like just yesterday we were talking about Survivor Series, and now
I was just gonna say. I mean, it feels like we just got through with Survivor Series.
Yeah, and now we're on the verge of TLC already. Time goes by really fast, my friends. That's all there is to say. So yes, once again, Thursday, college football Thursday, and then Friday, NFL Friday. So that's it. So that will do it. So until 10:30 Thursday night for college football Thursday, it's ridiculously over Anthony Florio here for the Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom, Michael Bullock, and of course, as always, in spirit, the Hardcore Pipe on Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it a Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a great rest of the week. And remember, my friends, I'm gonna give you one slight little tweak in my usual sign off before I do my traditional so long sign off, and that is, I want you all to remember one thing: wrestling is indeed actually real. For now, Anthony Florio. So long.